Hello students, I'm making this video for JMS 701 Spring 2024 semester. This is really inside, this is an explanation of um, a methodological issue I encountered when I did that research about the dismantling the golden age, or what I call dismantling the golden age. Hopefully you've read that article by now. This is just kind of a little explanation on that. Okay, I wanted to construct radio schedules for the decade of the 1950s or the late 40s up until the early 60s. This was the period of time when the scripted programming on the radio began to disappear, shift to television. Radio changes its structure and its format. Now we get the musical programming, blah, blah, blah. All that is explained in the article. Okay, first thing I did was this book right here, Radio Network Primetime Programming, 1926, 1967, 2 volumes by Mitchell Shapiro. And what this has is the 4 major networks: ABC, CBS, NBC, and Mutual. ABC actually spun off of NBC, has each day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc., broken down, and the tables are rather complex. Trying to make sense of those tables was difficult. So the first thing that I did was construct my own tables using Excel. Here is the kind of thing that I created using Excel. First thing I realized was that radio shows back in the day were actually programmed by 15-minute increments. I was thinking 30-minute time blocks. It was actually 15-minute time blocks. So I made this schedule for 7 to 11, broken down by 15-minute increments. And then I just decided to take 2 months for each year. This book, the book that I showed you, the book actually has, every month, but I just decided to take 2 months. And red indicated there was network primetime programming, and black means there was not network primetime programming. Okay. And first thing I did was make this kind of thing for the 4 networks. And I thought it was really cool. I'm going to go through them right now. I thought it was really cool. I saw some patterns emerging. Then lo and behold, I discovered that, I'm wrong. Okay. Here's ABC starting with October 1948, and we have February 49. And as you go through the years, you can see there's more and more black showing up and less red. This is ABC. So right at the end, in 1958, February 1958, we've got a chunk of something that's airing on Sunday night, and then we've got this 15-minute pattern right here stripped across. Okay, that was ABC. Okay, now we have CBS. CBS all red. CBS has a nice full night of programming, and then as we go through the years, you'll see a similar thing occurring, where more and more black is appearing. CBS held out longer than other networks. Okay. Looks like it ends October 1960. Okay, but we get the similar pattern where there's sort of a block of red early in the evening, and then CBS also had this block of red over here. And now we have NBC, a lot of red. Wow, look at this big drop off right around between February 1955 and October 1955. We get a lot more black showing up. And then similar pattern where early in the evening there is a strip of programming. And we get this 15-minute block right here. Okay, now we have the Mutual. Mutual was kind of a different kind of network. Not full red, but as the years progress, we see a similar kind of thing where we see the scripted programming disappearing and more black occurring. And it was February 1959, October 59, and then by October 61, everything is gone. However, it turns out that Mitchell Shapiro, who wrote the book right here, Mitchell Shapiro, got his information from newspapers in Miami and Chicago. And I can't believe I made such a dumb mistake by putting in all that effort. The radio listings from those cities indicate not the full gamut of actual network programming, but only what was being covered and carried by the affiliates in those cities. And clearly those affiliates were not carrying everything that existed. From broadcasting, from the journal Broadcasting, which I was able to access through that website, worldradiohistory.com, I found all of these things. Here's, we have 1952. This shows, if you can see, it's kind of hard to read, the full night. It's got everything listed for CBS and ABC and NBC and Mutual. And then even when we go, okay, by 1957, Broadcasting is no longer publishing those nice grids, which is also an indication that the radio network programming was secondary to television. But you still, if you actually look at these listings, and I took the time to go through these listings, there's plenty of programming. There's plenty of programming. The point of this was that despite what this book indicates, the radio networks had full nights of programming throughout the 1950s. And what the book is actually showing is not what the networks were offering, but just how the local affiliates in Miami and Chicago were handling it. They were blocking out, not carrying, removing some of the network programming and carrying their own local programming in its place. Anyway, hopefully this video makes sense. Hopefully this video gives you some information. It explains a methodological issue that I encountered while doing this research. But it also shows the incredible difficulty and complexity in trying to figure out what was actually carried on the radio in the 1950s. And we're left with this conclusion of it depends on where you lived. It varies by market. Anyway, I still think the article that I wrote, Dismantling the Golden Age, has some value. I believe it has some interesting things in it. But I hope the students who are watching this will get some insight into this particular difficulty that I faced.